Rainmaker Black Belly Skate Park. That's where we're going for game number 1. It's the Fraud Squad, it's the usual suspects, and it's right now. Welcome back to Smash and Splash 5.
So this is the last game that we even saw the usual suspects playing on, so I wonder if they're going to make a bunch of adjustments to have these games play out a little more in their favor. It looks like this is the first time we're seeing an NZAP for them, so that's already a definitive change as opposed to the Tri-Slosher they had earlier. And it looks like that's going to be working out for them as they've had 3 people going down, so this is going to be their time to shine. They're going to be pushing this forward with the heavy Splat lane, grabbing this Rainmaker and making some footplay go down.
Grimy driving it up and already almost at 50 points off of the board. Indeed gets it to that point, 55 points on the board. Grimy trying to find some room and ultimately just runs out of it, as does at least 2 of his teammates. So 4-on-1 situation for the Fraud Squad with which to work, but they're going to have to bring it back to midfield first, and the usual suspects got into position mad quick, Stellar.
Mad quick indeed, and now we've got 2 people on the Fraud Squad going down. They're going to be popping this Rainmaker, but they're not going to have the manpower to make this push happen. It looks like our Splattershot Pro over there is in a little bit of trouble too, as now their Sploosh main is the only one that's going to be up right now. But we've got the usual suspects picking up this Rainmaker again, ready to make some more magic happen, but having them found by the heavy Splat lane on the left. They're pushing up, and they're just a tick away from having a point gainage on their side. But here comes the Stingray ready to scatter them as they're getting this Rainmaker ready for a left half pipe push.
Indeed, Raptura, the midliner with the Rainmaker, as Booyah Bomb is going to come in, provide a little bit of support, try to clear out the club. 4-on-3 situation, and indeed, Grimy got caught turning around. And a total team wipe is going to allow them to take the lead. And indeed, it shall. Oh, a last stand with that Slosher. It takes out Prince. However, they still have the Rainmaker, and that is 87 points. 78 points on the board for the Fraud Squad. Just like that, that coordinated push, that left half pipe approach worked, Stellar. And really, it's just like in anything, 4 players will always lose to 1 team, and the Fraud Squad looked like a team there.
Fraud Squad definitely looked like a team, as now they're in mid, ready to get to defense. They're going to have some neutral down as they're competing a little bit for this Rainmaker over here. But the usual suspects are already 1 man down, and their NZAP going down not too far after. They're going to have the Stingray ready for a counter push as they're painting up and making sure that these people are too scattered to say anything about this next push.
You know, it really is the devil's in the details, Stellar, and you might have seen on the corner, the bottom of your screen there, that little torpedo catching the Slosher right on the side, taking them out and allowing for that bubble pop. And indeed, this current push as Raptura is currently demonstrating. Going to get it past 22, and indeed, all the way down, 90 whole points on the board for the Fraud Squad, as we see a 90-57 lead being taken by my man's from Philadelphia, so pardon me for the commentator's bias, but at the same, you know what, the 2-on-5, we look out for our own.
Absolutely. With the amount
That's just how we roll. You're going to have to accept that, Stellar, right off the jump.
I accepted you as soon as you sat down in this chair, and it's been a great time ever since.
Yo,
but now we've got the Booyah coming out. The 10 missiles aren't able to come down in time to do a detrimental amount of damage to this pro, and they're going to be going down, but they've only got the NZAP and the heavy splatting to say anything about it. The NZAP looking for a pick on this Sploosh and finds it, so they're going to be playing some hard defense and making sure that they're not going to be working their way towards a knockout anytime soon. Now we've got this base painted all the way black-blue. That's always what you want to see when you're on defense. You got to make sure there's no sharkers in your area. Their heavy splatling is going down too, and now that they've got a ray of their own in their pockets, they're going to be ready for a nice counter push, ready to get into mid and get some defense going as they make sure they don't go down with this Rainmaker in these first coming pushes. But we've got the Sploosh coming up in mid, going down with some nice defense. Here comes the Stingray, pushing them around on the left side and doing some damage, but hasn't quite found the pick yet. They're going to be living through that whole special.
Amazing maneuverability, and simply could not find the in that they needed, did KD.
We've got
as we get a little bit of a trying to get that barrier pop. But all they really need to do now is stall, and indeed they will do so. That Stingray going to come out and take out nearly the whole team, but it's just enough time for the Fraud Squad to hold on, and they do not get the barrier poppage that they needed at the very last second. They held out, and indeed the Fraud Squad, they had to have realized at the very least, you don't win the game in your own half of the field. You can only not lose it, and as you saw, the total combined 41 splats on the for the top 3 players. As we take that and rewind it back, Raptura driving it up, this fearless attempt all the way through enemy fire, 2 people right in his face. Luckily, Grimy was there to get the kill, but I mean that really was the deciding moment, it seemed like. But even then, before that, as you saw that push all the way up to 22 initially. It was well coordinated, and the usual suspects, despite them garnering momentum at the very beginning, simply could not recover.
Yeah, you could tell from the way that this game started out in the beginning that the usual suspects had definitely learned their lesson in the first game that we were able to see them play, and they put a really strong lead on the board there at the very beginning. If they were a little bit more mobile, with the way they played, they might have even scored in a lot of points in those early coming plays, as a lot of people on Fraud Squad were down in those that important minute that they needed defense. But the Fraud Squad came in clutch, found what they needed to do to make sure that they didn't get too far past 40, and that was what made the game for them, as they got their coordination down pat and had an answer for what the usual suspects had brought to the table. So now we're going to be moving on to some tower control on Makomart. Definitely another fan favorite. I don't think I've heard anybody say they dislike Makomart. We've got somebody bringing in a Clash Blaster, which is definitely a favorite of a lot of people to bring in tower control, especially in the recent metas. But
I was about to say, especially in casual play. But yeah,
definitely in casual play, which is funny since you can only unlock it when you're at least level 40.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it? Either way, this is the Clash Blaster Neo that I believe is being broken out.
It is. That's the one that has a Curling Bomb, and it has Neo as a special. It has the 10 missiles as a special, and Curling Bomb definitely have their well-loved home here on Makomart with the boxes on the left and right, and just the ability to push into enemy team's base at a high speed. So now we've got 2 people going down in usual suspects teams. There's 2 people on the tower, but that's not a hardcore idea to have when you have a Clash Blaster on their team, as they push them off almost immediately. Luckily for them, they locate and take that Clash Blaster out, and now they're going to be moving it towards this next checkpoint as they handle the people that are accumulating near this tower.
And I actually do find it interesting, the fact that they went with the Clash Blaster Neo, just considering, I mean, where this game started, especially in tower control. The Stingray, like you had a Stingray, and you have to have a Stingray on your team, obviously, and Purple surely does with Grimy and that Splatter Scope. However, Clash Blaster Neo, I mean, regular Clash Blaster has Stingray. This one has 10 missiles. Now you're seeing this. It just goes to show this game is ever-changing, ever-evolving, and it's most certainly growing. And really, this LAN is a testament to that. But Isaac, with that Booyah Bomb, going to try to clear out a little bit more space, that 2-on-1, a little too much for Kaworu. And all of a sudden, it's once again, this positioning simply not there. Make that a triple, kid. Isaac, come get you some. And that is over 60 points on the board. Make that almost 70, as Grimy going to try to take out this nuisance that is Isaac with that Kensa Splattershot Pro.
Yeah, unfortunately for Isaac, with the 3 people going down, he definitely made the right decision in jumping back and making sure he stayed alive, as now he's clocked down and has his Booyah Bomb ready for some hardcore defense. When it comes to specials, Booyah Bomb being one of the definitive factors in tower control for some nice defense on checkpoints, as you can pop it right down on that tower and keep them and everybody past the scatter. But they don't even have to pop it anytime soon, because we've got 2 people going down on usual suspects again, with both of them accumulating near those that toilet paper stack that is on the left side. But we've got the Mini over here trying to contest this tower on their own, and Isaac finding them and taking them out. He's still got that Booyah Bomb ready, and here it comes. He's going to place it down on this Flash Flasher, make sure that they can't just harass them on this tower as they get to the next checkpoint. No chance at all.
No chance. Oh, you poor thing. Bringing the purple pain. Unfortunately, Raptura going to provide some support, but man, the story of the match so far has been Isaac's 13 splats thus far, and with a combination of that play and the Booyah Bomb. And as we take a look at that, once again, no room for Prince to run. And that is unfortunate.
All right, but,
it's going to be Isaac saying, "Baby, I'm a star." I can quote Prince lyrics all day, so I'm just going to stop.
Unfortunate for the Fraud Squad, as we've got Grim finding 2 picks on the enemy team. He's going to be jumping on this tower with the armor and finding another pick, but unfortunately for him, a lot of his team's going down, so he's going to be soloing this tower to the checkpoint until they return.
Now Sketch, tried to get that trade, but luckily we had that mini Splatling there to come and clean up the mess. Gonna make a little bit more of one with those tenna missiles, and yeah, hope someone ordered a 9th wave.
All right, usual suspects doing their Sunday best to get this tower to the checkpoint, but the Fraud Squad pulling off some really nice defense and keeping them from not just breaking, but not even approaching or not even reaching that checkpoint to begin with. We've got Isaac here on the right, ready for some defense again, still bopping down that Booyah Bomb, popping it to protect himself from these tenna missiles, but finds himself bopped out of the sky before his Booyah Bomb can see any more action. Now we've got the usual suspects getting ready for their push, but we've got this flanker coming. Let's see.
Oh, Grimy in an up-close and personal battle, not where they want to be, especially in the face of that NZAP 89. Going to try to play a little bit of defense. Now all of a sudden it's the Fraud Squad on the back foot. And they're in very real danger of losing the tower, but crisis averted, and the Fraud Squad looking to go up 2-0 here, and indeed they will. GG, says KD. The Fraud Squad, they're looking legit to me, Stellar. They're going up 2-0.
All right. 2-0 is definitely a strong position you want to maintain in these next coming sets. Well, like we talked about earlier, having that early momentum can do a huge amount of good for your team. But now here we can see Isaac popping this Booyah Bomb. We got the replay over here, finding a pick on this NZAP with the help of his teammate Sketch, because if there's anything that's enjoyable about coming to these lands, it's definitely seeing some really good coordination. And here they go with the assistance of the pressure of his teammates and those torpedoes and the Stingray. Isaac just pulling off a really nice triple that got them to that next checkpoint.
And that really is something that should be said, is that, frankly, you can't have a Karl Malone without a John Stockton. You can't have an Evgeny Malkin without a Sidney Crosby, as much as it pains me to say that as a Flyers fan. But that's regardless. Either way, you have to have, you know, those people coordinating everything around you and kind of funneling people to you so that you can get those kills, so that you can get that triple that allows you to put 82 points on the board. And Isaac was the standout in that match for sure. But at the same time, I mean, you got a whole team, and that's, like I said before, 4 players will always lose to one team. The Fraud Squad, emphasis on squad in that particular game. As we go to Clan Blitz on Humpback Pump Track, it'll be interesting to see how the usual suspects counteract this. But right now, it just looks like they're being overrun.
All right. Hopefully we can see some overrun flip on the other time, because we've got Clan Blitz on Humpback coming up. This is definitely one of the most hectic of clan maps, if you ask me, with the enemy basket being really far into their high ground with just a lot of room to be taken out. It could use a lot of coordinated play to be able to get a huge point lead. So here we go. We've got Isaac bringing out that Tenebrella to give their team bubbles. KD switching to the first heavy Splatling remix I've seen since getting to the event. Definitely a weapon that could use some more love. We're going to be accumulating some bubbles over here in mid, painting up as much as they can, but they're going to have to work quick because the usual suspects have already accumulated 2 of their own specials and a lot of the map control over here.
Isaac, oh my! I mean, you saw him try to deploy that Tenebrella, but unfortunately, just nothing doing. in terms of that advancing guard. All they had to do was jump over it. And indeed, Prince going to collect that power clamp and try to run in. It's a successful barrier breakage for an initial score. However, the Fraud Squad playing some decent defense, only allowing the barrier to be broken. Looks like they're going to bend, but as of thus far, Stellar, they have not broken it.
They haven't broken it too much yet, and when it comes to clams, having a single power clam go in can be a little more detrimental to your team than just the 20 points that you get from it does for you. So we've got Retro over here making sure that they're not getting flanked, but finds, I believe, the NZAP all the way in their base. Graham's popping that bubble and doing some disaster to this barrier, so even though I was just knocking down their single clam push over here, it looks like they've got themselves planted very well into the humpback base for another push.
Grimy. Oh, and again, a barrier breakage. Grimy is coming through with the assistance, but again, being kept back, it makes you wonder. You can't really find that positioning to pile on more points. Eventually, you're going to be made to pay for it.
All right, and now with the double balls going in without a lot of follow-up, we've got the Fraud Squad having accumulated 2 power balls without even having any spacing control, or control in mid. We've got the Booyah Bomb coming out from this remix, giving them a little bit more footwork, but the pink team over here is simply outpainting these guys. But Ratura, finding a space for these, has found a jump for 2 of their teammates to put in the power balls, and they're going to be getting the lead with that one.
57-70 remaining. Just like that, I mean, they're looking to take it down to over halfway. Oh, gotta hate it when the golden clam just breaks right in front of you.
Oh yeah,
that sounded like a particularly specific sort of drug hallucination. But either way.
But either way, here we go again. Having the Fraud Squad not having as much of a powerful push as much as just a huge point one, because they still haven't had a huge amount of control and lead. Just every single weapon on the Usual Suspects team is ready to be just painting and outpainting them like crazy. So we've still got them with the bigger clam, clocking in a lot more clams than they're able to, and just they aren't having an answer to be able to get themselves out into mid.
Grimy going to try to charge in, however, maybe got a little too antsy, especially in the face of that end zap. Sketch going duck hunting out here. And just like that, though, the Usual Suspects do take the lead. 3-2 on the field, however, the damage has been done. It is 52-46 on the board right now in favor of the Usual Suspects.
Yes, but the Fraud Squad is going to be looking good here, as now they're going to be getting some high ground and making sure that their positioning is in check. As long as they get another couple picks in these next couple plays, they're going to be in a good spot to undo that lead that they've just found themselves losing. Now the Booyah Bomb is coming in. We've already got a special on I-16, but with the Power Ball, he's going down, so they're not going to be able to get that super jump push that their teammates had found for them. The Sploosh taking out this player as well, so they're going to be losing their power ball, and they're going to be putting in a counter right away.
Well-timed splashdown right after the toss. They're going to sneak right up behind Prince. Moving silently. Shout-outs to the Sploosh-O-Matic in competitive play. You got to love seeing that.
Gotta love it.
65 on the board, and they are not done. Prince charging in straight into the teeth of that end zap, and of course chews him up and spits him out. That thing is a man-eater, and Grimy going to look to avenge his clan a little bit. However, he will get no such thing in the face of Isaac, who again with that camo Tentabrella putting in that work. But I mean, you can't be living in your own half of the field the whole game. Eventually you got to make that push, and there's one in store here. Wait a second, they get a barrier breakage. There's a chance, but do they have the clams in order to do it?
They've got a
Wait,
lot
they're
of clams
pushing.
to keep
They
doing
did it!
it!
Goodness gracious me, the Fraud Squad with the 3-0 victory. At the very death, the Usual Suspects are denied.